Welcome to the final Handpan challenge. If you want the notation for all of these, check them out on my Patreon. First, we need to learn a rhythm called the, which rhythm are we doing? Doing the Maqsoum. This is available on Handpan Dojo World Rhythm Library if you want to check it out over there. I think it might be one of the free ones. So the rhythm is this. Handy. I've chosen this rhythm because all of the accents land on the same hand, even with the ghost note pattern in there. Right? I'm doing all of that with my right hand, which means in theory I can do it without the ghost notes. So that's the first part, the first challenge you need to do. You need to be able to do it with both hands. Same level of comfort. Do not skip this step. Make sure you practice with both hands. Practice twice as long with your non-dominant hand. It's really important that you're comfortable with this one, because otherwise it's just going to make it way more tricky for you once you introduce the scales. Spoiler alert, there are now scales involved. So, again, I invite you to practice your one-handed scales. And with the other hand. Make sure you're super comfortable with those. Both hands are as relaxed and loose as each other. If this concept is new to you, that means you haven't followed along with previous video that I recommend before doing this one. There are a couple of videos from Handpan week 2, I'll put them in the description, that I recommend before facing this challenge. So what we're going to do next is put the Maqsoum rhythm together with the scales exercise. And that will look like this. And we can switch. And we can switch again. With that, the next step, because that's not all of it, is to start to divide the beats in the scale in different ways. So again, practice this until you're really comfortable with it on both hands. Practice the scales until you're really comfortable. Practice the two together with switching in real time as well to the beat, so that you can get used to that feeling of having the hands land at different points within the beat, within the bar. Because that's the first thing that really throws me off with these exercises. So once you've got that, then we can start to think about, if you take it back to our shifting accents exercise, which was this one, E and a 3 and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2, right? 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. See how those accents are lining up in a different part within each beat? We're going to take that and translate that to scales. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a except we'll go all the way up and all the way down before we shift to the next accent, all while playing this groove with this hand. And it will look like this. I really do recommend, if you're a visual learner, to also have the notation out in front of you so you can see how it shifts if you've got that. Like I say, it's available on Patreon. I'll put a link down below. But anyway, all together, just one hand on the groove, one hand on the scales, that looks like this. Scale starts to shift. Don't be thrown off by where the accents land in this hand. What I like to do, the way that I think about it when I'm still working it out, is I count for the first little bit. I go 1 E and a 1 E and. So I know that the groove is 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4, right? So I know that if I'm doing the E's of the scale, 1 E and, it's going to look like that. 1 E and a 2 E, 1 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So, not like that at all. I count, when I'm still working it out, I usually count the first couple, but actually there's too much going on with my hands for my brain to also be counting. It's just too many things at once. So then what I'll do is I'll tune in to the hand that's playing the scale and feel the even gaps. So my goal is to make sure that once I've got it going, this is why this is called the autopilot technique, once I've got it going in that rhythm, then I'm just making sure that I'm keeping the gaps even and that my groove is in time with the metronome, ideally. And then I know that I'm landing in the right place, right? And then once I've done it a few times correctly, then I can hear how it lines up with this groove, and I can start to settle into that rhythm a bit better. So I recommend you do that with your dominant on the groove, dominant, non-dominant on the groove, practice those around a few times, and then next level challenge, because that's not the end yet, next level challenge is to do a strike on the 1 on the scale, dominant on the groove, and then strike on the 1 on the scale again, but this time you swap hands. So you do, for me, if I'm starting on the left with the scales, it'll be left 1, right 1. Left E, right E. Left and, right and. Left right right? And I'm going to try and demonstrate what that will look like, and then I will leave you to your own practice. Right. Let's see if I can do it. Ready, 1, 2, 3, 4. getting to the end there in one take. Okay, cool. So there it is. That is the challenge. That is the exercise. My challenge to you is to do that better than I just did it, and tag me in it and add the hashtag Campagnery. That is a mega challenge. That's kind of combining a lot of the videos that we've done this month already. I chose the ones that you voted that were your favourites into one big exercise. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. I hope you have enjoyed this month, and I do hope that you continue your practice. Maybe not quite as intense as this, but that you've built that habit now, and then it can maintain throughout the rest of the year. So I hope to see you next week in the next regular instalment, I suppose. But otherwise, thank you so much for being part of this journey. It's been mental. And I'll see you again soon.